Good morning. You know, so far, the dreaded Pennsylvania has been great. I think we're 100 and change miles into the state, and it's been just easy, cruisy terrain the whole time. Little bits of rocks here and there, but nothing like, the overhyped, well, I'm not gonna say overhyped, the fear that I had of just crappy rocks the whole time. I know they're still ahead of us. The worst sections of rocks are still to come. But the first half of the state has been just wonderful. Stayed at Peter's Mountain Shelter last night. Pretty sick shelter, honestly. Like 2 stories, and really big, and just really nice. Heading to, I believe, Rausch Gap today. It's like 18 miles, 19 miles, something like that. Found out yesterday, well, not found out, but was talking to Roach. His family wants to come pick him up in the next couple of days and take him into Philly for a couple of zeros. And with Safe Travels, formerly Mayhem, at least 11 miles back, I might be on my own for the first time since Gatlinburg. We were discussing that with some of the people at Trail Days, how, good thing about the trails, you get all this alone time and blah, 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 blah. I was like, I've only had 2 days on this entire trail where I hiked somewhere by myself. And both of those days, first one being the first day on trail, second one being the first day out of Gatlinburg. Both those days I met someone the first night that I spent the next 2 weeks with, at least. So, alone time could be a thing for a few days, pretty soon. Probably something I need to experience, so we'll figure it out. Oh, my arm's getting tired, so I'm gonna stop recording for now and bring you back if I think it's something fun or I see something cool. Little dude tried sneaking back up on me. Yeah, you run away. Probably wants to eat that cork. I wish I was really able to capture the amount of life that I'm seeing out here in the woods right now. Like, it's awesome. Like, I know you guys can probably hear the birds chirping occasionally. Maybe I'll get a woodpecker during one of these. But like, the life on the ground. The porcupine, I'm sure I just showed you. Every few steps, I'm scaring up a squirrel or a chipmunk or some kind of ground birds. I'm not sure what they would be. Maybe turkey, maybe grouse, hard to say. But there's just so much life out here. I truly walked into spring, almost summer at this point, but it's way different being up here and being during this time of year. Whole different feel to the hike. This is the kind of stuff that is gonna make Pennsylvania difficult. Just rocks. Well, good morning. We stayed at a shelter whose name I cannot remember, Rausch Gap. last night. Kind of cool. It's like dug down. I don't know, it's like bunker style, like where most of them are just kind of sitting out on top of stuff. This one was like dug down into the mountain a little bit. Real interesting shelter. Starting to notice problems with my gear finally, which is very upsetting. The last 3 nights in a row, I've woken up to a semi-deflated sleeping pad, which makes sleeping not great. Not sure what to do about that yet, 'cause it's a very slow leak. Like, it takes 3 to 4 hours to deflate. So it's so slow that I can't even identify it. If I could identify it, I could patch it, but I can't. So we're gonna have to just deal with a shitty, slowly leaking pad, or buy a replacement when I get into town in 2 days, because there's a Cabela's there. We'll see. Heading to the 501 shelter today. It's like 18-ish miles. Well, this is interesting. It's like an old cabin that they've renovated into just being a shelter at this point. But the most remarkable thing about it is that you can order pizza, which kind of just solidified our plans to definitely go there. This is cool looking. Hold on, let me show you this here in a second. Okay, I said cool looking. I'll give you a little scoop around here. I think this is a beaver dam, or there's somewhere here there's a beaver dam that's making it look like this. The downside being there's nowhere to walk and stay dry. So I'll be back. Well, good morning. Whew. Today is going to be a wet, rocky slog for 24 miles into the town of Hamburg, where we are going to stay at a hotel right across the street from a Cracker Barrel, which is one of the most exciting things I've said in a couple of weeks. It really can't decide if it wants to rain or not yet. Oh, there's some. But it definitely knows it wants to be rocky. We have hit the part of Pennsylvania that everyone hates. Whew. It's gonna slow us down. Got 24 miles to do. Started a little early. Trying to get into town by like 3:30 would be nice, but that's optimal hiking speed, not wet rock hiking speed. So who knows? Got 2 more days after today before Roach gets off trail for a couple of days. Talked to Mayhem yesterday. Well, Safe Travels, formerly Mayhem. And he's back on trail. He's about a day and a half behind. If he does a big push today, he can get to the shelter we stayed at last night. And he'll only be a day behind. I'm probably not going to let off the gas until I get out of Pennsylvania. Then I can slow down and wait for him. But I really want to make that goal of finishing Pennsylvania in 2 weeks. I'm not one who likes to set goals and not get there, so gonna try for that. But today, we're gonna try as hard as we can to not break our ankle on some wet rocks and we're gonna go and get a hotel. We are 19 miles into a cold, wet day. We decided a few hours ago we're not taking a break because hypothermia is a real thing. And we're both under the impression that if we stop walking, bad things could happen. There's no motivator for speed like the threat of death. Well, good morning. Whew. We stayed at the Microtel in Hamburg last night. We had Taco Bell, and then we had Red Robin, and then this morning we had Cracker Barrel. Just an all around good time to stop for a day. Well, not for a day, for an afternoon and a morning. Today we're doing 23, I think, miles. Leaving us 18 into Palmerton tomorrow. That is where Roach will be getting picked up by his family to go into Philly for a day or two. That should leave safe travels, formerly Mayhem. A little bit of time to catch up. I am gonna, I think I mentioned this yesterday, continue my push to the end of Pennsylvania so I can do the whole thing in 2 weeks like I was trying to do. So glad to be out of the rain. Yesterday was wet and miserable, but we did do 23 miles by 1 o'clock. Because like I said, hypothermia, it's a thing. It'll scare you. It'll make you keep moving. Hopefully I get some views today to show you guys. But if not, I'll just come back with some more thoughts after lunch. Well, I don't know what's going on today, but I've got like zero energy. I know it's not food, because I ate an obscene amount of food, both last night, and I had Cracker Barrel for breakfast this morning, so I know I got food in me. Been drinking water, been drinking electrolytes. I'm just tuckered out, which is unfortunate because I've got like 3.5 more hours of hiking today. Oh. Only thing I can think of is that maybe it's the fact that I'm on day 11 without a break. And I mean, averaging 20 miles a day for 11 straight days is getting me. I think the only time I've gone this long without a break was my first 2 weeks. And I certainly wasn't doing 20s. I certainly wasn't walking over rocks. But it was way harder terrain, hill-wise. So I don't know if I just need a break or what's going on. It's gonna make the rest of my goal of completing the Maryland and Pennsylvania section in 2 weeks difficult, because I still have like 60 miles to go after today. 3 days to do it. 3 more 20s without a break. Whew. I don't know, maybe today is just a fluke and I'll feel good again tomorrow. Right now, I am just completely and utterly exhausted. Well, I am officially alone. In my extreme sluggishness today, I still managed to catch up to Roach right before we got to a shelter. And he is feeling the exact same. We stopped for a break, and he decided that he was just going to be done for the day. He's getting off trail to visit his family tomorrow anyway, so it's not that big of a deal for him. I considered it, but I already have a room reserved at a hostel tomorrow night, and so my options were stay there and have to do a marathon tomorrow, 26 point something miles, or just finish the 7.5 miles that I had planned for the day and only have 18 tomorrow. Now, luckily, it was never even really a question for me. I told Roach the same thing. Like, I set out to do X today. I'm gonna do it, no matter how crappy it feels. But, yeah, I'm alone. I'm gonna get to camp tonight, and I'm not gonna know anybody. And this is the first time that has happened since I left Gatlinburg. Way, way, way back in the Smokies. It's gonna happen eventually. And it probably needs to happen, but not thrilled about it. I like being around my friends. Our estimate is that he and Mayhem, safe travels, should probably catch me next Tuesday or Wednesday. Today is Thursday, so a little bit less than a week. But that's 1 week of me being completely solo, making my own decisions. I can do whatever I want. We'll see. Gotta be rocks in the picture. See, this is the hard stuff. See that blaze? That white spot on the tree? That's my only guiding marker. It's just find your way across the rocks. And then when I get there, it's probably just gonna go that way along more rocks. Good morning. Man, yesterday was a brutal, brutal day. Still have no idea why. I mean, I know why the end of it was brutal because I had to crawl over rocks for the last 5 miles, but I don't know why I was so out of gas before that. It was weird. Feeling better today, but I've only been walking for a half hour, so that doesn't really say much. Today's easier. We're only doing, or I am only doing 17 miles into the Breezy Acres hostel in Palmerton. Be nice to get there, get a shower, do some laundry, because my clothes are funky. Seems like a pretty cool place. It's completely donation based. Like, if I really don't want to, I can just walk out of there without paying. That's fine. That's not my style. I'm probably gonna honestly pay her a little more than feels appropriate, just to sort of, make up for people who have less. Wow, I'm breathing heavy already. No climbs or anything today. It's just supposed to be 17 miles of walking along this ridge, but I assume we're gonna run into some pretty gnarly rocks. Palmerton, or the road to Palmerton, is also known as, well, Lehigh Gap is right there, which is one of the most infamously rocky places on the trail. Luckily, the real hard, scrambly, difficult part, I gotta switch arms. I will be doing tomorrow rather than today. But from what I've heard, Lehigh Gap is kind of the crescendo, if you will, of all the rocks. So I think today is going to be a slow build up into a rocky mess the last couple of miles before town. And then tomorrow, climbing out of town, is where we get to deal with the just, I don't know. They were talking, reading notes and seeing pictures and stuff, like there's some like 70-degree vertical almost scrambling. Like, hey, put your trekking poles away, you're gonna need your hands. This is gonna be difficult scrambling. So that's tomorrow morning. Wow, my thumb's been in the camera. Well, that's gonna look stupid, but for today, let's just hope that this nice, smooth, not rocky terrain holds up for another couple of hours. The knife's edge, fun. Looks nice, huh? And then you see this mess. Ugh. You know, despite the rocks, Pennsylvania still continues to be my favorite state so far. Maybe it's a little bit of hometown bias, but I've gotten trail magic 3 times in the last 48 hours. I just stopped and had Gatorade and chocolate milk. Dude made me a fresh burger, and just had a group of guys who have been day hiking together for years and like coming out and setting up and just doing trail magic once a year. I just happened to get lucky to be here on the right day. This is a steep hill. Yeah, I was gonna stop at a shelter a mile ahead for lunch, but now I don't have to. So now I just gotta push on the last 10 miles into town. That's pretty. And get a shower, do laundry, you know, hostile stuff. Whew. Why does it feel like I'm in a bog and not a mountaintop? This is weird. That crap is what I'll be climbing tomorrow. Good morning, and welcome to the climb out of Lehigh Gap. So far, it's just regular climbing, but really soon, it's gonna be a lot more difficult. I'll bring you back. And up we go. Follow the white blazes up the rocks. That's just stamped on the edge of a cliff. There's another one there. So yeah, right up the cliff. All right. admittedly, that was probably the coolest start to a day I've had since Klingman's back in the Smokies. Like a rock scramble on wet rocks, super windy day, but it was so cool. I was terrified when I heard about that thing. Even yesterday, I was talking to a guy who did it yesterday. In perfect conditions, no wind, dry, warm day. He's like, man, that was the coolest thing I've done. He's like, but it's definitely kind of scary, especially when you look down and look back and see how steep it is. I was like, why would you do that? I'm gonna stare at the rocks in front of me. I don't want to have any idea what I'm putting myself through. And that worked a lot better. I stayed at Breezy Acres last night. I talked about it yesterday. Completely donation-based place. Coolest hostel I've seen on trail. Like, it didn't offer anything extravagant, but Mary Poppins and her family are huge nerds, so I felt right at home. She had D&D stuff all over the house. There were gaming consoles plugged up. Like, it was just a family of nerds. They were even trying to convince me to stay up and play some games with them last night. And then when we saw the weather today, where it was going to be crappy and rainy all day, we're like, you know, we could just take a zero and play D&D all day. This is as we're sitting in the car getting ready to leave. And she looks over at me and she's like, yes, we could do that. I gotta put the miles in. But if I'm ever back in this area, that is an awesome place. Highly recommend. Today, I'm doing 20 miles into Wind Gap. Oh, deer, lots of deer. Which will leave me, I think 16 or 17 tomorrow, into Delaware Water Gap, which finishes up Pennsylvania. And that will be in exactly 2 weeks from when I started, or when I left Harper's Ferry. So I will have done the challenge that I set out to do. Even though I'm alone now, it's temporary. I get Delaware Water Gap, I'll take a zero, wait for Roach and Safe Travels to catch up, and then we'll be on our way. It just looks so cool out here with these clouds. Love it. I just saw some bears. Finally. I've been wanting to see bears the whole trip. I couldn't get them on camera. They were just kind of sprinting away from me through the woods, but I finally saw bears. That's awesome. What a good day. Side note, bears make less noise running through the woods than squirrels do. I swear squirrels are just trying to be as loud as possible. There's no reason for it. Good morning, and welcome to 910 miles to Katahdin. Stayed in Wind Gap last night at what should have been a cheap motel, but it's actually an expensive motel disguised as a shitty building. Who'd have thought? Today was a good day. Today, I finished my goal of completing the Maryland and Pennsylvania section in 2 weeks. I will be crossing the Delaware River in about 16 miles. Hey. It's kind of weird that getting to PA was such a huge goal for me, and then I rushed through it really fast, but that's what progress takes, right? Whew. It's chilly this morning. I looked at the weather. It's supposed to be like low 40s today. Feels about right. It's cold. But I'm gonna walk and I'm gonna warm up. Ow. And I'll bring you back if anything cool happens. I'll tell you what, it has been a long time since I've had to stop 2 hours into a hike to put a layer on. It is chilly today. For reference, it's June 1st and it's in the 40s. I'm not complaining, by the way. I want to stress that. I would much rather hike in the cold than the heat and sweat and funky, nasty grossness. Plus the cold keeps the bugs kind of at bay, so that's nice. It's just interesting. I didn't imagine I'd be seeing temps in the 40s in Pennsylvania in June. See, those are snakes. And that top one, you can't really see it. Definitely has a rattle on it. You can see its head though. Pennsylvania coming in clutch with the wildlife. Got the bears yesterday. Big old rattlesnake today. Way to go, Pennsylvania. There's New Jersey in them there hills. Well, I made it to Delaware Water Gap. Unfortunately, where I'm sleeping, and the town as a whole, is on the Pennsylvania side of the Delaware River. And as I said, my goal was to complete Pennsylvania today. I'm walking over to the bridge, and I'm gonna walk across the state border, and I'm gonna walk back. Well, I did it. Finished Pennsylvania. Now I'm back in Pennsylvania. Delaware Water Gap's pretty cool. I came into town, checked into my hostel, got a shower, went and got a massage therapist to work on my shoulder for a half hour, or for an hour, which was awesome. And then went to this little market thing that has an everyday special of a hot dog and a piece of apple pie for $4.95. Really good. And I got a raspberry milkshake. Really good. And everything else in that store, it's like a confectioner's dream store. And pretty reasonably priced. I saw a few pretty big pastries for like $3 or $4, stuffed with various fruits, and I'm going back tomorrow. I will be going there for breakfast in the morning for sure. But for now, I'm gonna say goodbye for the week. And I'm gonna go back to my room and I'm gonna edit this together. And I'm gonna go to sleep. And then I'm gonna spend all day tomorrow being lazy and being a pig. Bye, guys.